We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thank you. And next is Miss Jennifer Connor, and Miss Jennifer is with Cancer Wellness Foundation. Ms. Connor, please tell us what you do in Pike County.
So my name is Dr. Jennifer Connor. I am a nurse practitioner at the Cancer Center. I'm also the board president for the Cancer Wellness Foundation of Central Alabama. So I don't know if y'all are all familiar with us, but what we do is we, I was not prepared for this. Let me just tell me that, but I was ready. So what we do is we step in post-diagnosis for patients with cancer, and we assist them with transportation to and from chemotherapy and radiation. We also have a patient advocate that helps with grants. We also help with funding for medication. So if the patient has a typical, we'll say a cancer drug, their copay is over $1,000 and they can't afford it. We try and assist them to bring the copay down that they can't afford it. We help them find grants. We also have copay assistance. Our biggest thing is trying to help ease the financial burden post-diagnosis of cancer. I do not have the specific data for Pike County. If I had known that, I would have brought that, but I can specifically give y'all how much we get, how many patients we get from Pike County, and what the estimation is, all that. I can send that to y'all directly. But everything we raise stays local. We do not send it to national things. It helps everybody locally.
Okay.
And we can earmark for patients in Pike County specifically.
Questions? Anybody?
What are the qualifications to?
You should ask me that. I was waiting for that. So I can't specifically tell you that, but I can get how we rearrange all of that. That would be Wendy. Her father-in-law died. So I'm stepping in to help her this week. So I am from a nurse practitioner's perspective. It helps a lot of patients. We see copays. A typical medication, cancer medication, it can either be from $20,000 to $100,000 per month. And a copay can be anywhere from $500 to $1,000 per month on patients.
So a patient here that has to go to Montgomery, you might give them a gas voucher from time to time?
No, they would get, if they qualify for the Cancer Wellness Foundation, they would get a gas voucher for every visit they have.
Based on income?
Based on their income. But every visit they have, for office visits, for treatment visits, anything that has to do with their cancer diagnosis, they would get a gas voucher.
Okay. Anything else?
Everybody, they would get one.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here and taking the time to come. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, Mr. Engineer's report.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
First thing under project update there under new business, I'm just going to show you all the sign and kind of give you a heads up. These were presented at the ACCA conference recently, and the association is asking us to, by us, I mean all counties in the state, to have these signs made in this way and post these along the road projects that will be constructed using the new Rebuild Alabama fund.
Great.
So that's why the name Rebuild Alabama is the name of the new law that was passed creating the revenue for the road work. So we've ordered some that have Pike County Commission written on. So at some point in the future we will be erecting those out along the projects and there's, as you know, plenty of them.
Make sure you let us know before those go out.
Will do. But for now, just send over here with these ones, let it stay there, if it will. Okay, next, under new business is the FEMA Bridge project, but it's under new business, I believe, but it's been something that's been in our project updates for a long time. But we finally gotten the proposed right-of-way agreement and the deed from the landowner, Alan has, county attorney has reviewed those and given those his blessing. So the agreement is in your agenda package, and we'll need to approve that if you so choose, and then we can execute the deed and get that recorded and finally move forward with that project. So we are, just to clarify, anticipating that you would approve this tonight. We're already advertising for bids on that project, and we plan to open bids very soon and bring that back to you for an award. Then under current business, I'm sorry, I missed one thing. As we've noted all along since that project has been in the your project update, we probably will need a short-term loan to manage cash flow on that project. Just like the industrial access projects, it is a type of funding where we pay the contractor and then get reimbursed by the Alabama EMA. That's FEMA money, but it's comes to us through Alabama EMA. So I suppose that what we should do tonight is ask you to give us approval to go secure a short-term loan up to the estimate on the project is less than $500,000. So I think that $500,000 should cover it on that. So now moving on to current business, we have opened bids for our annual bids for goods and services, and we have a package that we presented with you there with recommendations on those. Just briefly going through those, the first one is asphalt and plant mix, and we have recommendations for award on those items. The second is concrete. No bids were received, so we're recommending to be able to negotiate for the lowest price. The third is pest control bids, and we are recommending an award there. The fourth one is hauling contract. We're recommending awards for those items. And then the fifth one is stone and gravel, and we're recommending awards for various vendors on those. And then lastly, the sixth one is treated timber, and we only received one bid, so we're recommending to be able to negotiate for the lowest price. All those recommendations are detailed on those memos that were provided to you. So next, item is personnel, and we have several recommendations under that or requests. First, there is a memo. Let me turn to it. It's in your agenda package with two names on it. It looks like this. I'm going to ask you to disregard that memo and replace it with the one that I handed out to you tonight that has one name on it. The subject is completion of probation under the subject line. So we want to replace this memo, and we're asking you to approve this recommendation instead of the one that's in your agenda package.
That's the one
Okay. And then next, under personnel, we have a recommendation for a mechanic, for a position we've been advertising and interviewing for.
Okay.
Very excited about that candidate. And we also have a letter of resignation that is in your agenda package. So we have an operator, one who's resigned, and we're asking permission to advertise for a replacement or to fill that vacancy. Okay, So I think that's all that we had on the agenda. Then, under attorney's report, I don't know if Alan that item there under the attorney's report also involves the road department. So I'll just briefly explain. It's a situation where a structure, a house down near Hamilton's Crossroads is encroaching onto the county right-of-way within a right-of-way flare at an intersection. And I don't know how long it's been that way, probably a very, very long time. And the proposed solution there, which I think is in your agenda package, is just a quitclaim deed to quitclaim a portion of that right-of-way flare so that that house is no longer on the county right-of-way or the corner of it. So, but again, I mean, that's actually under Alan's report, so.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That was it. I was just briefly explaining what the situation was on that. I do have
Before you move on then, are there any questions about the quitclaim deed? Okay, go ahead.
That'll be the second one that we had since I've been on commission. We had one in the city of Brunswick the same way. Then we had to quit claim it, so it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a
Alan, you
simple
want to elaborate on it?
Yeah, in 61, based on John's research, there was a right-of-way acquired, but I searched, or had my abstract search the records because the engineer office didn't have a right-of-way deed, and so I went looking for one just to see if there was one. There's not one recorded, so it would just be by prescription. The county took it, and it just so happened they took, I guess that intersection back in the 60s evidently was needed that large of a right-of-way. Over time, it's don't need it anymore. So it just so happened that Gary Everberry actually, she bought the lot next to the right-of-way in 86, 87-ish for her mother. And y'all may know where that is, where her mother lives. And what happened is they didn't survey that transaction. So Mama's house is sitting over on our right-of-way. And so, based on Russell's and John's research, that strip where the house is sitting is no longer needed for the right-of-way. It's just too big. So two things can be accomplished with this deeding it to them. One, it gets the various property lines straightened back out with the house on their own land. And it eliminates the county being liable for a strip of a right-of-way that we don't want or need.
Okay.
So we researched it and been working on it for probably, I guess, a month. And they went and hired and engaged a private individual surveyor to come up with it at their expense, and it didn't cost the county anything. And so this just completes that transaction.
Okay. Any questions on the right-of-way? Comments? Anything for our engineer?
I'd like to know what we had on 7749. On that CBG event.
ADECA is still reviewing those. It'll probably be at least another month before they make any awards or announcements on that.
Have you rode out there lately?
It's been a few weeks, I think, probably since I was out there.
No, they've been calling on me about it, and I said, we're waiting on the grant to see what we're going to do about it.
I think the road's about the same. still needs to be fixed, but it's just a waiting game. I mean, we're totally out of our control. We're waiting on ADECA to, they've been making site visits and, reviewing grant applications and deciding who's going to get awarded. Maybe it'll be us.
Okay, any more questions, comments?
Go ahead, Chad. Mowing started like we discussed
Started today,
today, so they're about a week behind when they were supposed to be.
almost. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would have started on Labor Day, but other than that, yeah, a week behind.
Any other comments?
One more thing.
Go ahead.
I had one of your employees talk to me the other week about when they on standby for that weather. They having to drive from T-Renum to up this way to get a vehicle to go to it. Is there a way we can work this thing out with whoever is on the call, they can carry the vehicle home so they, and one saw or whatever, they don't have to drive all the way to Troy and
Yes, sir.
go back?
Yeah, we're making accommodations for that in our budget for next year. So we'll take care of that issue.
Okay.
Sure will.
Anything else? Thank you, Russell.
Thanks.
EMA's not in. Alan, you got anything for us today?
Nothing other than what I've reported. I will comment that under Commissioner reports, the executive session matter, I have had a lengthy discussion with Mackenzie and reviewed some documents related to that, and it without question falls under the exception of good name and character. So I've already ruled on that. She'll
Okay.
implement it.
Okay, administrative report. Does any commissioner have a report? All right, come on.
Okay, the first item is it's listed as bank account approval. We've got 3 accounts that we need opened at Troy Bank and Trust. 2 of them are for the new Rebuild Alabama funds and the Federal Exchange Program with the new law that was passed. And the other one is for an EDA grant, and they recommended that we need to have an actual separate bank account for those funds for the EDA grant that we're getting through the federal government for some work up there around Rex Lumber. That's all those, and I will ask that you'll suspend the rules and vote on that one so we can get that open and taken care of. The second, if you don't have any questions on that, is the HVAC bid. You know, I've been talking to y'all about, we've got 2 units here at this building that are down. We've had to rent some portable cooling units, trying to get some prices on replacing those. I'm not recommending you try to repair really anything right now because the R22 that's going to be discontinued completely within the next year, you won't be able to purchase it. And right now it's so expensive to buy anyway too, that we start looking at just replacing these units as they go out, because we can't fix them when we don't have the right refrigerant to fix them. In doing that research, we've gotten one price from the company we use to do all of our energy savings contracts, and the price is well above the bid limit. And because of that, we're going to have to bid this out. Now, in talking to him, the actual purchasing for HVAC units can be done, it's by law doesn't even have to be bid. There was a special law that was done, I believe in 16 or 17, that allowed being able to buy HVAC stuff not having to go through the bid process. But to have the units installed will have to be bid because it's going to be over $15,000, we think, just based on the one estimate that we've gotten so far. These units, one was a 10-ton unit, and we're going to be able to replace it with a 7.5-ton unit. The other one is a 4-ton unit that we're going to have to replace. So I'm asking, can we go ahead and suspend the rules tonight so that we can send out bids to get this moving so that we can quit having to rent cooling units for these 2 areas here in this building. You got anything on that? Okay. Next is just the DataWorks Plus annual agreement. This is the fingerprint machine over at the jail. This is just an annual agreement that we approve. This can roll down to current business. It doesn't have to be approved right now, and there's a copy of it if you want to look at it in your agenda packages. The next item is the Pike County Economic Development their annual contract that we sign, and this is saying that we're going to fund them through the appropriations, so it would depend on whether or not we approve the budget for that amount to be able to do this contract. But it is in your package too, if you want to take a look at what it says, and it can just roll down to current business. The last item is we've gotten a request from the city of Brundage to relocate precinct 14. I believe that's in Commissioner Copeland's district. They have gotten some grant money to do some work on that building for, I believe it's some kind of business, maybe incubator or something down in the city of Brundage. And they've got to have that building, they're going to have to start work down there in January before the first election, or the next election we'll have, which will be in March. So they're asking, can we relocate it to their senior center there? And it's within that precinct. It shouldn't be any problems. And they're asking for a permit change. So there is a copy of the y'all may not have a copy of the resolution, but we've got one now. This will be something y'all can take a look at, and you can vote on it at the next meeting if you're okay with the move.
I emailed that Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will that give the registrars plenty of time to get the?
Yes, we have spoken with the registrars. Everything looks to be in place. They have made sure it is within the precinct,
Okay.
so that it doesn't go outside of it. Everything's fine with that, with the location that they've asked to move it to.
And that will also get you a lot of parking space, get them off the front street. You know,
Good.
you don't have no
Yeah,
parking space
I think
at all.
that parking place is actually where people end up parking most of the time to go and vote at the location they were having to park at. So,
Well, this
I
one's
meant
one of
vote
those
at.
where we don't have a whole lot of choice in this one. It's a city building that they're using for a different
Something else.
thing now that
Yeah.
they're remodeling, but it will be a nicer space to, and I'll let one that's more conducive to getting in and out and not parking on the streets.
And it just has to be approved before, they need to get the notices out to the people that vote there before November 30th. So if we could do that at the next meeting, that gives them plenty of time to get the notices out to all of those voters. That's all I have under new business. Under current business, the budget, I have given each of you up in front of you a copy of the budget that we're recommending that you pass. It does have a few changes since you've seen it last time. Some of those I told you about at the last meeting, where we're having some store profits, ABC store profits. The Board of Education, we don't have final information, but they think that, I'm getting told by the sheriff that they think they're going to be able to fund an additional school resource officer. So we do have it budgeted, but we are waiting on the final say-so from the Board of Education as to whether or not they approve that. So we did go ahead and put it in there. If not, we would adjust that if it just stayed at one school resource officer. Because of that, we did increase one of the line items for vehicles under the Sheriff's Department. We would need to buy an additional vehicle, and so we increased that line item to include that additional vehicle. Included in the budget that was not, and we've talked about it, was not in your last budget, would be to do a joint purchase with the state of Alabama for the Forestry Commission here in Pike County. I have talked with the people that handle our IT information, and they're recommending that we get some new portable hard drives. We do back up on-site and we back up off-site at 2 different locations, but we don't have any way to have like a portable hard drive backup if we were to need to back up and put it somewhere if something was going on. And he has recommended that we purchase that for our servers here and at the courthouse. And so I did increase that line item within the commission's budget by $2,000. That's probably a little more than what he estimates the cost of them are, but just to be sure that we cover that, if that's okay with y'all.
Okay.
The next item, we have been notified officially today. I don't have an official exact number, but health insurance rates are going up 4.9%. And this will be employees and family coverage that any of the employees carry. And so we did go ahead and increase our budget, the line items in there for that.
Okay.
The other change, we had a small increase in our life insurance rates that we did go ahead and update in our budget there too. It was about a $4 a year increase per employee.
Okay. What else?
That's all I've got on the budget. If y'all have any questions on that, I don't have anything else that we'll need to go over tonight.
Questions for the administrator?
I got one, on the budget. Joint purchase of a truck for the Forest Commission. Before we purchased one, and we had to let them go ahead and get it because they couldn't get the titles for it.
We're still discussing with the state, with the Forestry Commission. They're checking with some people at the state whether it will be the county commission that purchase it with them giving us an appropriation for half of the vehicle, or whether the state's going to purchase it and we will send them an appropriation for half of the vehicle. We're not sure which way that's going to end up quite yet. If we do have to purchase it so that they can get title and insurance and all that, we'll probably do like we did years ago and have to do some type of lease to the state so that they'll be able to insure it and title it and everything.
Any questions for the administrator? Okay, thank you, McKinney. I have one item that I would like to discuss. It's not going to be voted on tonight, but as commissions change, I want to protect our administrator, and we mirrored a employee agreement form for the county administrator. It's very similar to what Harry had, and it's very similar to what Russell has as the engineer. If we will read over it, and then if we have any questions or comments, we'll talk about it at the next meeting and let it roll to regular current business.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to also pull the one that Harry had in second.
Okay.
Look at both, if you don't mind that, McKinney.
Yes, sir, do.
Harry's on and Russell's existing one.
Just a,
Yeah.
Just a
It is, you can look at them all, you can look it all, you can look it all.
all three.
Yeah, right. And that's all I have. Does any other commissioner have anything at this time? Okay, if not, the work session will now come to a close, and we'll convene at 6 p.m. for the regular meeting.
If you like family food and fun, welcome to the Iron Age. Folks, you can make memories for generations to come with the Golden's Cast Iron Cooker. Check out its features: cast iron Kamado, cast iron grates, cast iron wheels with a heavy-duty cart, stainless steel thermometer and draft door. Two sizes, 14-inch and 20.5-inch diameter cooking surface. Hey folks, whether you like grilling with charcoal, wood pellets, or gas, we have it right here in Troy. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio inside Town & Country Flooring Center.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
The AgriScience Technology Academy is a premier program in agricultural education and exploration located